Welcome to day 2 of my attempt at the 2024 TransContinental Race. As you can see, I've just collected my bike from the garage at the back of the hotel in St. Goar, and I'm preparing to hit the road once again. It's 5 in the morning and I had a good sleep, 8 hours of solid sleep, so I'm ready to start the next day. Still in the Rhine Valley. I'm going to try and get down as close to Village as I possibly can. So hopefully tomorrow I can tackle that CP1. Okay, so once it starts warming up, getting a bit lighter, I'll give you an update, let you know how things are working out. My intention was to continue riding south through the Rhine Valley to the towns of Wiesbaden, then Mainz, then Worms, and then to Mannheim, which was my original overnight checkpoint or stop, but I didn't quite get there and I had stopped early in St. Goar. But then from Mannheim, I intended to then proceed east towards Heidelberg and then southeast towards Munich and try to get as close as possible to Salzburg. So this is my intention for the second day of the ride. And yeah, you'll see that even with the best intentions sometimes and the best laid plans, sometimes things just don't work out the way we expect. Now, I'm not exactly sure about the exact location of this specific video, but I suspect that this is Wiesbaden. And the reason I say that is that I think those red buildings in the background are characteristic of this town. I may of course be completely mistaken, and if I am mistaken, please advise me in the comment section, but I think this is Wiesbaden. My GPS coordinates on my camera unfortunately just did not work on this day. You know, when planning out this route, I had no idea just how important it was to stay on cycle routes or cycle paths, especially here in Germany. You know, when I would ask rider GPS to suggest a route that I could follow, and they kept giving me these squiggly little lines, I would always try and correct them, put them on the main roads, but obviously that is not the right thing to do, and the main roads are just way too busy. And if it suggests take a cycle route, yeah, take that. And also, if it doesn't want to allow you to go onto a specific road, then there's probably an important reason why. It's probably because it's way too busy. So yeah, this is a hard lesson because I had overridden the rider GPS a number of times, and it led me onto some not good roads. Probably going to get some penalties for that. It's part of the learning process. Okay. Get on with it again. What I actually meant to say was that I was not able to follow the route that I had planned in the Rider GPS app, and the route that I had created was completely incorrect in that I was not able to ride on any of the roads that I had planned to ride on. I should have allowed the Rider GPS to take me through the cycle paths, but I had overridden that and had forced the Rider GPS to take me on main roads, which I was not allowed to do. As a consequence, I found out that I wasn't able to ride most of the routes that I had planned, and when I tried to make a spontaneous deviation or detour, this just got completely messed up and I ended up getting lost multiple times. Well, I didn't expect to cross by ferry. This is completely unexpected, but just goes to show there's so many unexpected things. I just took a pedestrian bridge over the river, and I thought, well, we're going to stay on the east bank of the Rhine, and now we've got to go back again with the ferry across this way. It's like so ridiculous. You know, sometimes, and I thought I had my route completely planned down to the last centimeter, but obviously I just screwed it up so badly. See, there is a bridge there as well. I don't know why I didn't go across the bridge. Maybe they don't allow any cyclists there. But anyway, it's just a €1 trip. It's not much further, just another few. It's probably taken me less than 5 minutes to make this whole crossing. So yeah, so hopefully it's still going to be good. Yeah, it's just frustrating with all these tiny little detours. You know, every time you think you're just on a roll and then you get something like this, just completely screws up your time and messes up with your mind. You know, every time I make an error with this navigation, it costs me time, it costs me energy, and then it makes me doubt my whole self. Like, you know, like how did I plan this? Is this all correct? What did I do right or wrong? So yeah, you know, I think you definitely probably need like 6 or 7 months just to sit down and really plot out and plan every little bit of your route. And you got to know the little details as to the different countries. Like Germany, you've got to know you've got to only take cycle paths. Don't even consider taking any kind of like main roads or anything else. Traffic is just way too heavy and not designed for anything except motor vehicles. Stay with the bike paths only. Don't try and override your rider GPS, because if you try and override it and you go onto the wrong way, it's like taking your life in your hands, because it's just so bad. Now it just makes me worry about the rest of the trip. You know, wherever rider GPS was taking me, I was always trying to find the smoothest, quickest route, but you know, I don't know how good that was. Anyway, I'll let you know how things work out. Anyway, we're here. I gotta go. I eventually passed through the city of Mannheim, which is a very industrial city, and then proceeded further east towards the city of Heidelberg. It was here that for the very first time I became aware of dot watchers who actually would come out onto the route to actually see you, meet you, greet you, and take photographs. And this is something that I experienced on multiple occasions, as I'll show you later in this video. So this is the city of Heidelberg, still along, I assume this is the Rhine River, and that's another beautiful city. So I was mistaken, and this is not the Rhine River, but this is the Neckar River, which is one of the major tributaries to the Rhine. The Neckar River is about 382 kilometers and flows predominantly through the southeastern portion of Germany. Just as in the Rhine River Valley, there are multiple castles dotting the banks of the Neckar River. I did stop to take photographs of these castles, but the photographs do not do justice to the beauty of these castles. This is something you have to do personally to appreciate the beauty of the castles on the banks of the river Neckar. These are just some of the amazing scenes of the city of Heidelberg along the river of the Neckar. However, it was after leaving Heidelberg and traveling further southeast that things went terribly wrong. The first thing I found was that once again, I was not able to follow the routes that I had chosen in Rider GPS, and I got completely lost. I eventually ended up in a very tiny little town called Neckar Bischofsheim, which was about 24 kilometers southeast of Heidelberg. Today is definitely the day of detours. And there was a section of road that I chose that I just couldn't take. I just couldn't ride it, and I made an error, a navigation error, and so I had to find a new route to get to the further down my original route, and it took me through the mountains and gravel roads and forests. It was beautiful though, but quite a detour. One thing that was really interesting about the detour though was I came across this concept that they plant fruit trees along the cycle paths, And so there's apples and there's pears, plums. It looks like there were even, I'm sure these were figs. And some of them were really quite ripe. And so I had a whole lot of pears to eat. So yeah, one benefit of taking a detour to get to see some unexpected scenery and get some unexpected experiences. I'm finally back on track. I'm hoping that now I'll be able to continue without further detours, but we never know. We'll wait and see. By now I had realized that I couldn't use my original route that I had planned, and so I had just entered my destination of Munich into the Rider GPS app, and I had just requested that they take me as quickly as possible to Munich. And yeah, I was going on totally uncharted, unprepared routes, and this was probably one of the most exciting aspects of the ride, in that it took me to places I probably would not have gone through. One of the places that I went through was the city of Neuenstein, which had the most amazing castle. This was a 16th century castle that was extremely well preserved, and the route somehow took me right through the middle of this castle and then through the historical town just after that. It was just amazing, absolutely beautiful. And once again, one of those gems that you'll only get from the unexpected. Shortly after Neuenstein, I stopped to have a late lunch, and after that, my fortunes changed. Very shortly after that, I met up with 3 extraordinary dot watchers who had been following my dot, seen that I had stopped in their city of Kolber, and had come out to actually meet me on the road. And they gave me some assistance in terms of putting me onto the correct cycle path that would fast track me towards the city of Munich.
Thank you. This is so cool. I was riding through some crazy mountains, and it's like, just like I was thinking like, oh my God, where am I going to, you know?
Yeah.
So,
How are you? Good?
I'm fine otherwise.
Are you tired or?
Not yet, no, not yet. No, just getting lost all the time. I have to stop and then check.
Okay.
It takes a long time.
Okay.
I think that I had something to eat in one of the towns. I had some kebab or something. So first town is Aalen, second town is Heidenheim,
and then straight away to Munich.
and then Munich. Okay, all right.
Gingen an der Brenn.
And say again?
Gingen an der Brenn.
Gegen, how you spell that?
Sorry?
How you spell Gegen?
Gingen
Yeah.
an der Brenn.
How do you spell it? With a G or E?
Ach so. Oh, Adi, kannst du es machen?
Gegen ist G,
Okay.
I,
Okay.
E, N.
Okay, Gin.
Something like that, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, no, that's good as long as I know it's with the G.
Oh,
Okay.
You can lost.
Okay, but I please tell me your names.
Eggy.
Eggy and
Eddie.
Abby and.
Good
Have a good trip.
luck.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Good trip.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
So I've made it to Aalen, and it's exactly midnight, and I now have exactly 48 hours to get to checkpoint 1 if I still want to stay in the race. And the distance is about 500 kilometers. So yeah, I could stop and rest and have a good sleep. Yep, that'll probably be a sensible thing. But with the time limit looming and the minutes ticking away, I think, and I don't feel sleepy yet, I am gonna just try and get another few 100 kilometers in. Try and see if I can get at least 100 kilometers tonight before I need to sleep. And then hopefully I'll just have 400
kilometers to do before I have to check in. Okay, so, and remember the big hills are still coming, the Alps are on their way, and the pass that I must complete is still on its way. So, yep, it's going to be just a super crazy time. Okay, so cutting it close, R&C, cutting it close. Okay, speak again, bye. So from Aalen, I continued further southeast towards the city of Munich, and the distance of 500 kilometers with a 48-hour cutoff time just kept playing in my mind. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this was probably not manageable. And I started to think some negative thoughts, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'll never make it to the checkpoint in time because I've got to first get to Munich, Salzburg, and then I still have to climb all those Alps before I actually get to Villach. And then I've got to do the entire mandatory course before I can actually get to the checkpoint. Is it possible to do this entire 500 kilometer route in 48 hours? I got super depressed, and so I basically just gave up. I just slowed down. I started to look at where I could actually stay for the night, and I thought, well, I probably just need to try to get a good rest and regroup, and maybe just see if I can just slowly potter on towards the finish in Istanbul. But I had totally resigned myself to it, and I thought it was just impossible. I mean, if I look at the speed that I was traveling at, with the climbs ahead of me and the parkour, which was going to be super difficult, I just knew it was going to be totally impossible and I would never be able to do it. So yeah, that was my situation. But let's just see what happens in the next part of the video. You know, it's quite noisy at the moment with this big tractor, but I'm just on top of a hill, and for the first time today I'm putting a little bit of effort into the riding, so I'm gonna have to just lube up and hopefully get ready for the rest of the ride. Now, I'll explain exactly what I did. Last night when I was doing my calculations, I got it wrong. I had 500 kilometers in 62 hours to complete. So I had a little bit more time than I expected. So this morning when I was doing my calculations, checking up everything, I saw it's going to be mathematically impossible to finish in time, and I was going to be a non-GC finisher. So I virtually gave up for the rest of the day. I'm going to slow down. I went to eat something. Started to look at hotels, trying to just keep myself motivated to say, well, at least if nothing else, I'll just at least try to just finish the ride. You know, a bit disappointing, but that's about it. So, and I chalked it down to just all those navigational errors that I made. Inexperience, poor planning, and not fit enough to capitalize on the situation. Just have a look at how beautiful this place is. So for the first time today, I'm actually have enough interest in my surroundings to actually be able to take a video. I went through Munich and lots of other beautiful cities, and I just had no motivation at all to video anything because I was just trying to stay motivated to stay on the bike. So it's amazing how it's all in the mind, eh? And now that Domain has confirmed that I've got an extra 24 hours to get to the checkpoint, suddenly everything has changed. So I'm going to try to just speed it up again and see how far I can get. Oh, look at these beauties, little bookies, all the little reindeer. Yeah, it's amazing how the mind works. Yeah, so once I had realized I had an extra 24 hours to actually finish the first parkour, yeah, my motivation completely changed. I suddenly felt motivated, and I felt that I had a good chance of actually completing the first part within the allotted time. And I immediately had all the energy to continue riding, and I immediately set off for Austria, which I intended to try to get a good sleep so that I can have a good rest and rest my mind so that I can stop making these silly navigation errors. And so off I went. I eventually found the sweetest, cutest little hotel at the foot of the Alps where I was able to rest and recover to face another day of the TransContinental. Join us again in the next video when we try to get to that checkpoint in time and all the adventures that go with that. Speak to you again soon. Okay, bye.